Not everything from God comes quickly, but it always comes strong. We live in a world obsessed with fast growth, fast results, fast approval. But in the kingdom of God, greatness is often hidden in the slow. God builds with intention. He lays one brick at a time, not because he's inefficient, but because he's wise. God doesn't microwave destiny, he marinates it. This is the wisdom of slow building, of quiet obedience, of sacred process. Rushing is how you miss the details that matter. God is not in a hurry, but he's never late. Some delays are divine protection, not punishment. We often want the promise without the process, but the process is where strength is formed. What feels like a delay is often divine construction. Quick success may excite the flesh, but slow building strengthens the spirit. Spiritual depth doesn't come from speed, it comes from surrender. The world chases instant validation, but heaven honors the quiet yes. Jesus grew in wisdom and stature long before his public miracles. If the Son of God was shaped in silence, so will we be. When God builds something that will last, he always starts underground. Before he made David king, he trained him in caves. Foundations are always hidden, but they carry the weight of everything else. Don't despise your hidden season. It's the bedrock of your future strength. Your calling is not on hold, it's under construction. Just because no one sees it doesn't mean God isn't shaping it. Noah built in silence. Joseph waited in prison. Jesus prepared in private. Visibility is not the measure of value. Heaven works in layers long before earth sees results. Faith grows strong not in leaps, but in layers. Layer by layer, line upon line. It's not less holy because it's slow, it's more sacred because it's deep. As it is written in Isaiah 28:10, "For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little." That's how God teaches. You're not falling behind, you're being formed. The pressure you feel isn't failure. It's the shaping hand of a God who refuses to rush what he loves. Diamonds form under pressure, so do callings. God would rather mold you in private than expose you unready in public. Hype fades, but holy things take time. Anything that's built on applause will fall when the clapping stops. Build on rock, not noise. The crowd cheered Jesus on Sunday and called for his crucifixion by Friday. Don't anchor your identity in noise. Anchor it in the quiet confirmation of the Spirit. If it comes overnight, it can leave overnight. But when it's built brick by brick, it can weather storms. Like the house built on the rock, what's formed slowly can stand firmly. Longevity is the fruit of obedience in hidden places. God is more interested in making you sturdy than making you seen. Visibility doesn't equal maturity. Just ask Joseph. His vision was real, but the pit and prison came before the palace. Being seen too soon can sabotage a soul still under construction. Let God deepen your roots before he lifts your platform. Don't curse slow growth. It's how God makes you unshakable. What God builds brick by brick is meant to last beyond storms, applause, and seasons. A solid structure takes time. He doesn't pile blessings carelessly. He lays foundation with precision. Each test you pass, each layer of patience you learn, each quiet yes is a brick. Let him take his time. You don't need to bloom overnight when your roots are being set for generations. Brick by brick means trusting God when nothing looks finished. It takes faith to walk through a half-built life and still believe God is the master builder. The Israelites wandered for years, carrying God's promise without the physical proof. They lived in transition, not yet in Canaan, but no longer in Egypt. That's what building feels like. Dust everywhere, tools scattered, nothing complete. But trust says, He's still working. I'll keep walking. Most people admire results. God honors process. We celebrate the finished wall Nehemiah built, but God saw the hands that bled, the prayers that whispered through tired breath, the watchmen who stayed alert at night. Every brick carried weight. In heaven, the beauty is not the wall, it's the obedience in the build. He counts the cost, and he calls it worship. Don't compare your wall to someone else's window. You may be laying bricks while someone else is already painting theirs. But walls and windows serve different purposes. One holds up structure, the other lets in light. Your process isn't prettier or slower, it's appointed. Stay in your blueprint. God knows what He's doing with your design. When you build slow, you learn things speed can't teach. Speed gives you momentum, but slowness gives you maturity. When God slows you down, He's often showing you what you'd miss by rushing through. Lessons are tucked inside delays, like learning to depend, listen, discern, and persevere. Brick by brick becomes wisdom by wisdom. Some of the strongest structures are invisible at first, like a tree's roots stretching deep before a branch appears, or a skyscraper's foundation dug low before it's built high. God works downward before He lifts upward. The invisible work is often the most intense. Don't measure your progress by what people see. Measure it by what's anchoring you underneath. Trust the God who measured the universe to also measure your steps. He doesn't throw your life together. He engineers it with purpose. The same hands that hung stars know how to time your seasons. One act of obedience, one conversation, one door, and before you know it, the blueprint starts becoming a dwelling place. Real progress looks boring most days. It looks like repetition, like showing up, like laying a brick when no one claps. But that's how temples are built. Faithfulness in the mundane. The days that feel unseen are the ones that give your future its stability. Don't underestimate what your ordinary obedience is becoming. Some days are about showing up, not showing off. There are no fireworks, just grit. No spotlight, just one more brick. But in the spirit, those quiet days are loud with impact. The altar you're building will stand because of the days you stayed when it wasn't exciting, when it wasn't easy, when it wasn't visible. Heaven's construction plan includes rest. Even the most anointed builders need to step back. Rest isn't rebellion, it's reverence. God commanded Sabbath not as a pause from purpose, but as part of it. When you rest, you honor the builder who never sleeps. Rest isn't quitting, it's trusting. When it's built with God, even slow seasons have sacred speed. It may look like you're crawling while others are flying, but God's timeline includes moments you don't see. Behind the scenes, He's connecting doors, aligning people, and preparing atmospheres. What feels slow to you is strategic to Him. The wait isn't a waste, it's wisdom. Endurance is a spiritual skill, mastered one brick at a time. No one builds patience in a moment. It's shaped through days that feel repetitive, trials that test your faith. The decision to stay when leaving would be easier. You're not just laying bricks, you're building spiritual muscle. Each slow day is endurance in disguise. The enemy mocks slow builders because he fears their strength. He knows that rushed towers collapse, but steady ones endure. That's why he taunts with comparison, whispers doubt, and tells you it shouldn't take this long. But don't flinch. Builders who last learn to ignore the noise. Some doors don't open until the foundation is strong enough to hold what's behind them. God may delay your next step, not because you're unworthy, but because what He has for you is weighty. A thin foundation can't carry heavy glory. Trust that He's fortifying you for something massive. When God builds, He includes your character in the blueprint. He's not just building platforms, He's building people. What you become in the process is more important than where you arrive. The bricks you lay in silence are shaping the version of you that can carry the next season with grace. Quick results can be addictive, but they rarely produce legacy. Legacy isn't made in a moment. It's shaped in slow choices. Choosing truth when no one's watching, showing up when it's hard, laying the brick even when it hurts. Speed impresses, slowness imprints. Wisdom isn't built in a hurry. It's earned in the waiting. Solomon's temple wasn't slapped together. It was crafted with detail, dimension, and time. When you build with wisdom, you honor the weight of what you're creating. Let patience be your permission to do it right. Every brick carries a story. You're not just building something for yourself, you're leaving a record. Each brick says, "I didn't quit today." It speaks of tears, prayers, promises, and perseverance. Someday, others will walk into what you built and feel your fingerprints on the walls. Don't rush what God is still refining. Sometimes He presses pause not to frustrate you, but to fine-tune you. A rushed builder misses cracks that will cost more later. Let Him sand the edges. The delay is mercy. You're not behind, you're being built with eternity in mind. Heaven's clock doesn't match Earth's urgency. The God who sees the end from the beginning is not anxious about your timing. Keep building. Eternity remembers what Earth forgets. One brick in the right place is worth more than 10 stacked in a hurry. Alignment matters more than speed. A well-placed step of obedience now will hold more weight than 10 rushed ones that fall later. Let God guide where you place your strength. A single act of Spirit-led obedience can uphold a legacy. God doesn't waste effort. He multiplies it. What feels like a small, unnoticed act of faithfulness today can become a pivotal moment in your journey. One obedient decision, one silent prayer, one honest brick, God sees it all. When He builds, nothing is wasted. Every step is used, even the ones you thought were detours. The strength of a structure is proven in pressure, not applause. Everyone loves a grand opening, but only storms reveal what's real. You don't build for the ribbon cutting, you build for the storm. And what's built in the slow, faithful seasons will stand when others fall. What you're building isn't just for you. Noah didn't build the ark for himself. He built for generations. What you construct in faith today becomes a refuge for others tomorrow. Keep building. Your obedience becomes shelter. Progress doesn't always look like movement. It often looks like consistency. Some days you won't feel momentum. You'll just feel monotony. But repetition isn't lack of growth. It's how strength is forged. What you repeat in faith becomes a pattern of power. The slow builder hears God more clearly. When you're not in a hurry, you can actually hear Him. Rushing drowns out revelation, but when you take your time, the Spirit speaks between the bricks. Direction is easier to catch in stillness. Let God guide your steps and trust that every brick laid in faith is part of a greater plan. Keep building with purpose and patience. What you're building in private will one day be someone else's testimony. Your slow season, your silent obedience, your private yes is creating something others will thank God for. The strength you're cultivating now will hold their questions later. A weak foundation with a fast frame is a spiritual collapse waiting to happen. Don't envy those who rise fast but lack roots. A beautiful structure built on shaky ground may dazzle, but it won't endure. Stay rooted. Build deep before you build wide. When God is the architect, trust the blueprint, even when it's silent. You won't always hear Him explain every step, but the plan is perfect. Even when you can't see how today's brick fits, lay it anyway. Builders don't always understand the design until the roof is in place. You don't need a finished wall to be faithful. You just need a willing heart. Progress isn't always visible. You may be laying the third layer of a future fortress. Keep going. The glory comes to those who trust the next step, not those who demand the final picture. Sacred things are slow things. God doesn't rush what He calls holy. Whether it's building a family, writing a message, or forming your character, sacred assignments require sacred pacing. The slowness isn't punishment, it's protection. Let slow become your signal that something holy is happening. Brick by brick means trusting in what isn't yet visible. Faith isn't about seeing the full house built, it's about believing the next brick matters. Abraham built altars without seeing nations. He trusted that obedience in the moment would echo for generations. If it's rushed, it may not be rooted. Shallow things grow fast, but they also fall fast. God doesn't just want you to rise, He wants you to remain. Let Him dig deep so when the wind comes, your structure holds. God's slow builds reveal your real priorities. When things don't come quickly, your motives are tested. Are you building for applause or assignment? When it's slow, you find out what you're really in it for. Brick by brick is how God rewrites family legacies. Every healed pattern, every prayer over your kids, every step of obedience is setting up a foundation for those who come after you. You're not just breaking cycles, you're building sanctuaries. The structure will reflect the pace. A hurried heart creates a hollow home. A patient soul builds something people can rest in. What you carry in the building season is what others will experience when they enter it. A builder's faith is tested when the brick doesn't feel significant. It's easy to celebrate the roof, but what about the 100th unseen brick? Faithful builders lay it anyway, because it's not about visibility, it's about value. When you build with God, nothing is wasted, even what breaks. That failed plan, that detour, that delay, in God's hands, even broken bricks become material. He's not just building a structure, He's forming a testimony. Delay isn't denial, it's design. You might think God's forgotten, but heaven is still drawing lines and measurements. What seems like slowness is precision. Wait for the moment when the structure matches the vision. Obedience is the mortar between the bricks. It's not just about what you build, it's how you hold it together. Daily yeses, quiet faith, steady hands. That's what makes the house stand when storms come. When it's finished, you'll see it was worth every slow day. You may not always feel the significance of the brick in your hand, but one day you'll step back and see the masterpiece God was forming through your faithfulness. What you built in patience will become someone else's place of peace. What you built, brick by brick, will outlast storms, outlive applause, and stand as proof that sacred things are worth building slowly. I'm your host, Abigail. Keep showing up, keep building slow, and remember, what God builds slowly, He secures eternally.